Okay, Lee Cole, and this is 30-Day Info Empire. And I appreciate your coming out wherever you are in the world. I was going to say on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, but it's not necessarily a beautiful Saturday afternoon where you are. But anywhere where you are in the world, I appreciate you taking your time and looking at this. I guarantee you this is going to be very exciting for you because I'm going to show you some amazing things. For those of you who don't know me, some of you know me, some of you don't. I've been doing a lot of list building, so I know I've got a lot of people on my list who haven't hung around with me for a while. Let me introduce myself. I'm a husband, I'm a father of 2 teens, I'm an Atlanta native. I have a background in sales, teaching, and internet marketing. I started affiliate marketing, I think it was 2009, it might have been '08, selling Amazon products. Started my offline business in 2010, quit my job then, started affiliate marketing in the internet marketing space in 2011. And next I'm going to show you some really impressive pictures of me. These are my bling shots, okay? Bling shot number 1, that goofy guy right there, that's actually me with my gamer t-shirt on, okay? Bling shot number 2, this is actually about 3 years ago. This is me and my 2 children in Charleston about to go down into a submarine that they used to have parked there at Patriots Point, but I don't know if you call it parking for submarines, but it's apparently not there anymore, which is very sad because if you weren't claustrophobic, it was really cool to go into this sub from the 50s. And here's another bling shot. That's me and my daughter cutting up here in Atlanta during our, 2 or 3 days of snow. And I just had a message from Joe. No, Joe, this is a different webinar. It just starts out the same. Joe's saying, well, Lee, I've seen these pictures before. No, it's a different webinar. I'm just introducing myself in the same way. And basically what I'm telling you, why am I telling you all this? I'm just a super normal guy. Okay, I don't drive around in a Ferrari. I don't wear a Rolex watch. As a matter of fact, I don't even wear a watch. I actually wear one of these, these little rubbery wristbands. I got this genius idea. I've got a wristband that says 10x bolder, 10x bolder. And see, that reminds me to live my life to the fullest for me, as my life is lived. And if I don't, like if I pass up an opportunity, if I think, hey, that would be cool, I pass up an opportunity, I pass up talking to somebody, like my wife recently met somebody. She said, you should call them. If I pass that up, I have to pop myself on the wrist. So it's a little bit of psychological programming here. But other than weird things like that, I'm a super normal guy. Here's another bottom line. I make and have made a solid 6-figure income doing this stuff. Now, I don't really like income proof. I think it's really crass, but some people need it, and so we're going to gloss over this. And besides, I'm a good old Southern boy, and bragging it's just not what we do. But some people need to understand what I mean by that and understand that I really walk the talk. So we're going to blitz through my income proof here. That was not yesterday, but this was from several weeks ago. And those were my affiliate earnings for one day. Now, not all days are like that, honestly. Some are like this. But you get, most of them aren't less than that. But you get days like that rolling in your business, you're doing very, very well. Let me show you another shot. This is me coming in second place in a launch that happened probably about 6 weeks ago or so. Second place, I won $1,000. In addition to the money that I won by selling this stuff, I won $1,000. And this is me coming in first place in a very recent launch. I think this was Offline Infiltrator, and this was Neil and Justin. First place, doesn't have a dollar amount there. I got 400 extra bucks for that. So, why am I saying that? I'm substantiating the fact that I'm not just sitting here blowing smoke. Now, in today's webinar, I'm going to show you how my info marketing business works. I'm just going to lift the lid off so you can see the whole thing. I have taught parts of this before, but I've never really showed the whole thing. And quite honestly, I was on a webinar with a class that I'm teaching Tuesday. It's more of an over-the-shoulder thing, and we kind of got off topic a little bit, and I kind of decided, people are asking me a bunch of questions, and I kind of decided just to show people how the whole thing worked, and I had so much interest in that I thought, it's a shame not to tell people how the whole thing works and to give them what they need to get the whole thing working, right? So I decided to create this webinar where instead of showing bits and pieces of how I do stuff, I would just show everybody the whole thing. So I am going to make you an offer at the end of the webinar. If you want to learn how to do this stuff and you want to learn how to do it from someone who is a born teacher, i.e. me, I'd be happy to help you out. We'll see what that is. Stay through the whole webinar because I guarantee you're going to be very inspired and learn a massive amount of stuff. Before we get going, though, I want to ask you a few questions because I want to help you put your head in the right place for life-changing type things. I want you to sit down and think, and I do this really every few days myself. I'm a very spiritual person, and I kind of approach things in a different way in my own business. So these are questions that I'm constantly asking myself. What do you really want out of life? Okay, just kind of think through that a minute. I'm going to go through these fairly rapidly because we have a ton of stuff to cover. Also want you to think about if you're satisfied with where you are financially. Are you feeling good about where you are? I mean, if you are, that's great. I think most people aren't, but if you are, God bless you. You satisfied with how you make your money, not just the money. I got a ton of friends who are making good money and don't particularly like the method. It's what one of my first real bosses at one of my first real jobs was as a programmer at IBM. This was back when I was in college, back in the day. And, I said, how do you like working for IBM? He holds out both his wrists. He said, Lee, it's the golden handcuffs. The guy was making good money back then, but it's the golden handcuffs. Good to have the gold, but the handcuffs, that kind of sucks, right? You have a nagging feeling there must be a better, simpler, more fulfilling way to live. And I think that's what we're all looking for. We just kind of need the vehicle to get there. Now, as I said in this webinar, I'm going to show you exactly how you can create a business like mine. Okay, I've showed you income proof. You can create a business like mine, a six-figure business in 30 days. Now, look, I do not peddle something for nothing, all right? I am not talking about living, the dream, living the laptop lifestyle. I'm not talking about 4 steps to massive amounts of money rolling out your laptop. That doesn't really exist, quite frankly. If you want to create this business, you can do it in about 30 days, but I'm going to be completely honest with you, you're going to have to work your butt off, all right? That said, I'm going to give you the entire blueprint to how to do this on this webinar. Now, there may be some technical things you don't understand. None of it's really technical, honestly. Most of it's very untechnical. But there may be some, gee, Lee, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. That's fine. I mean, we're just here on one webinar. But I'm going to give you the entire blueprint. I'm going to tell you what to do and when to do it and how to do it. Okay? Well, what to do and when to do it and a little bit of how to do it. And all you have to do is actually sit down and do it. And you have to believe that you can do it. If you get through the 30 days, you're going to have the foundations laid to a business like mine. I want you to really make sure you're taking notes because I am going to go really, really fast. If, however, you have some questions, please don't hesitate to ask them. Now, I may say, like if it's a really technical question about something that I'm talking about, this is more of a qualitative webinar rather than a quantitative webinar, so I'm kind of showing you the kinds of things that you need to be doing. So if you have like a really technical issue, like exactly how to make the description on a YouTube video, I probably can't answer that on this webinar. If I don't have a ton of questions and we wait to the end, I'll be happy to answer that for you. But stuff on the level of what I'm talking about, just go ahead and ask me questions, type them into the chat. I will either answer them at that moment or I'll say, hey, just give me a second, I'll answer that. Make sure you're taking notes. Seriously, get out a piece of paper. Most of you, some of you would have gotten a download of a PDF when you actually registered for this webinar. If you didn't, I'm making a note right here to myself because I was kind of like a few hours behind in getting that up. If you didn't, I will have that on a web page and I will make that available to you. So you'll be able to see this stuff, but seeing it and looking at it while I'm talking about it are two different things. Okay? So let's get going. This beautiful drawing, worthy of Picasso, is how my business works. Okay? Now, my business. Okay, I basically run 3 businesses. I run an offline marketing business where I sell products and services to sticks and bricks businesses. I run an information marketing business, which is what I'm talking to you about today, and I also am very active in network marketing. So I'm a really, really busy boy. I like it that way. Today I'm telling you about my info marketing business. That is the business of creating and selling information products, software, etc. to other people in the internet marketing space and selling other similar products as an affiliate. All right? So that's what we're talking about right here. So we're leaving the other 2 businesses out and we're talking about this one, which is good because this one's a lot easier to get up and rolling than the other 2 in a short amount of time. So I want you to look at what we've got here. Notice how this is all centered around a list. How did you find out about this webinar? You're on my list. You bought a product from me. You opted into something at some point, right? You're on my list. I send out emails. And by the way, thank you very much for reading them. You had to get there somehow, and you got there by a variety of means. But once you're on that list, then I sell you stuff, right? Now, stuff I sell is very high quality. If you've ever taken a class with me, super over-deliver on that. Courses that I make, super over-deliver on that. Even promotionals that you get. For every promotional I send out, I've looked at 2 others and decided they weren't worthy. So you're on my list. I make money by selling you my products and by selling you other people's products. That's over on this side. Okay, so courses, classes, coaching, promotionals, to the list. People on the list buy, I get paid. The question is, how do you get a bunch of folks on this list? You figure that out, and if you know what to sell to the list, then you have a 6-figure business, and it's not hard to do this. Okay? Now, they're basically, do I use the same? We're going to look at a couple of squeeze pages, okay? So, and I'm not saying your name because it says friend, because I screwed up and didn't put the name and the email on the thing. I won't ever do that again, I promise, because I love knowing people's names. So, hey, guys, when you ask a question, I'm a very people-oriented person. If you want me to know your name and all that stuff, and if you already know me, just write your name in first. Say, like I would write Lee hyphen question. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that, buddy. Because that way, it's not impersonal. So I'm not trying to ignore you. I just can't see the name because I'm apparently kind of an idiot. But anyway, this is what I get for doing something new, right? So, Alex, I'm going to show you a couple of squeeze pages, and I'm going to talk about that some, but we're not going to just sit here and just look at my incredible drawing the whole time. Okay, so we're going to get out on the internet. We're going to look at some new stuff that I got going. So, squeeze page, list. Look at the things that hit a squeeze page. Now, a squeeze page is like the email that you got that landed you on this webinar. All right, that's essentially a squeeze page. It's a little more complex because when you put your email into that squeeze page, it did 2 things. It put your email on a mailing list so I could keep track of who was on this webinar. It also registered you over at GoToWebinar. So it's a little more sophisticated, but it's basically the same idea. A squeeze page is a page that you land on where you have one of two actions, either fill in the blanks with your name and email or email address, or leave. That's a squeeze page. It doesn't give you a bunch of options. Now, so this is where traffic comes from, over here on the left, all right? So traffic would be people looking at your stuff. Okay, so this is where traffic comes from in my business. It comes from videos. It comes from free WSOs, okay, and there have been a lot of changes at the Warrior Forum lately because Warrior Forum was recently bought out by, I think it was freelancer.com or something like that, and they lowered the price that it costs to run a WSO from $40 to $20, and there's a lot of people running a lot more WSOs now, and it's kind of changing the landscape over there. Sort of, I would say, tilting it more toward free stuff, okay, from a marketer's point of view like me. So running free WSOs is where someone opts into something in order to get a freebie, in order to look at a video, and then on the back side of that is an upsell. They get hit up to buy something, okay, so those are free WSOs. Of course, their name gets put on the list, and these people are marketed to over time. Solos. Okay, so there are a bunch of people out there who own lists, me being one of them. So solos, when you go to a person who owns a list and say, hey, would you mail my email to your list and I'll pay you for every time somebody clicks on the link in my email. Okay, solos are great ways to build your list. It takes a fair amount of analytical tweaking, but you can actually get your solos to where you're either making a little money or breaking even. As a matter of fact, I just started a mastermind with me and a couple other guys about doing this, so hopefully I'll have some really cool cutting-edge information coming out soon for you guys. Facebook ads. Cheap stuff, right? Facebook ads. Don't cost much money. People click on those. They go to your squeeze page. Some percentage of them land on your list. I do some Facebook ads. I don't do a lot. I'm actually, over the next 3 months, because of some projects that I'm doing, going to be doing a lot more Facebook remarketing. Okay, this is something I've been learning about recently and something that I've just started implementing. You can work it so that anytime somebody lands on your squeeze page, that Facebook's actually building a list of that person's email on Facebook, and so you can pay to essentially remarket whatever it was that you're trying to get the person to land on, either the squeeze page or it could be the upsell page. You can pay to remarket to that person. Okay, that's a cool thing. This is a new thing. This comes out of some changes Facebook's made recently. And swaps. Swaps are like solos, except you don't pay for it. I mail my list and the other person mails their list. Now, personally, I do very, very, very few swaps. I probably haven't done a swap in 10 months. Okay, and I'm extremely picky about who I would swap with, and I would be extremely picky about the contents of whatever you clicked on and got with the swap, because a lot of people can let the swaps get out of hand and you're basically bombarding your list with junk. But anyway, all of these land on a squeeze page and build the list. Now, there are other ways of building the list that I do. Inexpensive WSOs, okay? I mean, I've got another 1,000 or so people recently, past month or two, 3, something like that. I'm so busy I don't really keep up with it. Just the list grows and grows and grows, right? Selling very inexpensive WSOs. I mean, it's great information. I get great feedback from these things, but the whole goal is I just saw that comment about the swap. But the whole goal is to get a buyer on your list. I mean, having somebody who gets something free on your list is okay. They got credit cards too. But having someone who is a proven buyer on your list is about 10 times more beautiful, right? Real launches, WSO launches. A launch would be defined as, I've got a couple of these coming up over the next couple of 3 months, but a launch is a little more grandiose thing. So you'd have a front-end product. You buy, and you guys have bought tons of this stuff, so have I. You got a front-end product, it's on the Warrior Forum, you buy it when you check out, you get the upsell, or if you don't buy that, you get the downsell, that kind of thing. More of a funnel type thing. That's what distinguishes for me between the cheap WSO and the launch. What's cool about launches is you can, because the amount of money that you make per visitor is higher, you can get other people to mail for your launches, affiliates mailing for your launches. And so not only are you making more money, but you're essentially harvesting their emails. Okay? And standalone launches. Again, the whole landscape is changing a lot with all of this stuff, but a standalone launch, and you've seen a bunch of those yourselves, and may not have really, unless you're a marketer on my side of the fence, you might not have really thought about the difference too much. But these would be products on pages that are not on the Warrior Forum, okay? And these, it's got some nuances that products on the Warrior Forum don't have. But all of this stuff, see, when you sell the WSOs, when you sell the standalone launch, your payment processor, JVZoo or Warrior Plus, along with your autoresponder, work in the background to take the email of the buyer and put it on your list. So all of this stuff builds the list. And all of this stuff makes money from the list. So the list is like the spoke of a wheel. And this is a really, really, really cool business. And this is the info product, the info and information product side of my business. This is a picture of what it looks like. As awful as the drawing is, this is a very, very accurate representation of how this thing works. See if I've missed any questions. I'm still kind of laughing about that last one. You know who you are, the one who said something about swapping. But anyway, do you use the same squeeze page for each traffic source? No. It's according, okay? It's according, but not necessarily. You can have multiple squeeze pages going on, basically. You could have you could have videos going to a squeeze page. It's according to what you're trying to give away. You could have videos going to a squeeze page that's offering a giveaway. I'll show you one in a minute. It's a new one that's offering a little ebook about video marketing. Okay. Well, I can buy solos and send to that squeeze page. All right. Or I could set up Facebook ads that send traffic to that squeeze page. Or I could do a swap sending traffic to that squeeze page. But I have other squeeze pages. Okay. So it's not necessarily the same squeeze page. But it's not true that each one of these guys has its own squeeze page either. Okay, there's not necessarily a correlation there. Cool. Any questions about the picture? We got a ton of stuff to cover. I'm going to tell you what to do every day to achieve building this. We're going to get into that in just a second. That's where you need your pencil. But any questions about this picture before I get moving? Before I leave this? Cool. Well, let's get rolling. Okay. Now, we're going to break this out into... Andre, that's a great question. That's a perfect question for me to answer right now. Would be a great time. Andre says, about the solos, aren't they mailed too much by others? I was... On our webinar on Tuesday, I was talking about solos, and matter of fact, that's kind of like where that picture came from. Solos, it's really according to the vendor of the solo. Okay. See, I know so many other marketers. I could go to another marketer who does not habitually sell solos, and I could say, hey, so and so, I need some more traffic for this. How much would you charge me per click to send this email to your list. And, 50 cents, 80 cents, 70 cents. Now, I already know the visitor value of the funnel. In other words, I've already calculated, because I've already sent traffic to it, on average, how much money I make every time someone lands on the squeeze page and makes their way through the funnel or not. So, like I've got a funnel, I think I was calculating that it's 89 cents per visitor. Okay, so as long as I'm paying theoretically 88 cents or less, well, making 1 cent a visitor is not really worth the effort. But let's say I could buy a solo for 60 cents or 50 cents for a click, for someone clicking on the email and actually going to the squeeze page or the sales page, whatever it is, and looking at it. So let's say that I was making 89 cents and I was paying 50 cents. That's an arbitrage situation. So I'm basically making 39 cents, on average for everyone that lands here. You can do that with reputable solo dealers, and you can do that with people who sell solos, who will sell you solos to a list, but they're not in the business, quote unquote, of selling solos. And I'm not hating on everybody in the business that's who is in the business of selling solos either. So don't think I'm saying that. But Andre is alluding to the fact that there are people who sell solos where their lists are just all built through like freebies and swaps for freebies and stuff like that. And the quality of that traffic, although it has value, they will end up, some of them will end up buying stuff, but it's a lot lower than the quality of some other traffic. So Andre, basically you have to do your homework as best you can, and you have to test. You have to buy small amounts of traffic from a vendor and send it to a funnel and see what it does. And if you get a few sales from that, then on the back end, okay, on the upsells, if you get a few sales from that, then you go back to that vendor and say, hey, I'll buy 500,000 clicks from you. But it is true that some vendors have lists that are basically just junk. But I built a list like that myself last year, and it got up to, I've forgotten how much it was. I was saying 2,000, but I think it was bigger than 2,000. I think it was like 3,000. But anyway, I built that over at SafeSwaps. Now, I've tracked it, and I have made some money from that list, but I haven't really taken the time just because it didn't seem like it was worth it. But Andre, I haven't really taken the time to figure out whether that list, the value of that list compared to the value of the list from selling one of my Warrior Forum products. I can guarantee you the value of the list from selling Warrior Forum products probably quite a bit more than the value of the swap list, but it's still got some value. So basically, Andre, it's not that you can just go out and buy clicks and, if you pay 50 cents a click and your funnel's converting at 89 cents a click, you can just feel good about making 39 cents a click profit. It all has to do with who you buy the list from. So again, you have to kind of test and tweak. That's a great question. So this is my 30-day info empire plan. Number one, do research, okay? Take about 5 days and do that. Now, in this whole 30 days, we're going to be implementing essentially that whole picture that you saw. And you're going to be creating, now don't have a heart attack when I say this, but you're going to be creating some baby info products. Well, if you're going to create an info, all an info product does is tell somebody how to do something that they don't know how to do. You don't have to be Einstein and figure out E equals MC squared. All you got to do is put together some information that shows somebody how to do something new, and they're happy to buy it. Okay, I bought a report or something recently about ads on YouTube. Now, am I capable of going over to YouTube and getting on Google and figuring this whole thing out? Yes, but it was so much cheaper and easier. Money and time is kind of the same thing in a way, not exactly, but kind of. It was so much more efficient for me just go ahead and pay and get the report and sit there and read about it than it was to try to figure that out myself. Okay, so that's the whole theory behind info marketing, is you're not necessarily selling anything that's brand new. You're not cheating anybody either. Basically, you're creating products that sort of aggregate information that solve a problem. So you need to think to yourself, well, if you're going to start building a list in this space, you need to kind of have an idea about, what that list is about. You're going to build a list about CPA marketing. You're going to build a list about list building. You're going to build a list about video marketing, whatever. And a good way to figure that out is, well, the best way to figure that out, I should have put this first rather than last, is for you to go look at your hard drive and see, you're probably like me, I bet. I bet you've got a whole folder on your hard drive full of WSOs. Who here besides me has a whole folder on their hard drive full of WSOs and info products? Somebody, just so I don't think that I'm a weirdo freak, I trade diets. Yeah, I know it. I mean, and it's a good thing because that's how we learn, right? It's not like we can go to graduate school and figure this stuff out, because by the time you get through there, the whole thing's changed. Yeah, only one folder. Well, I said folder just to make it easy. Yeah. I have folder, and then I have another folder, and then I have one of my, desktop, which is where I dumped stuff recently, and then I just put all the folders inside the folders. But yeah, go look at your hard drive. It's a cool thing to do because you can look at that and you can see what you are interested in. I mean, that gives you a very objective view of what you're interested in. What tickled your fancy? What floated your boat when you bought it? Why did you buy that? Look at your hard drive. Then go over to the Warrior Forum. Look at WSOs. Actually get out in the Warrior Forum itself away from WSOs. Read all those, not all, but go there and look at the questions that people ask. Let's get out of this thing for a second. Let's get into the real world a minute. The real world is crazy. This is all virtual, isn't it? We have new meanings for the word real, right? Look, I want to show you something. Because the last thing I want you to do is start making this stuff hard. Because this is not hard. This business that I'm showing you is not hard. The first one says, for those of you who buy WSOs, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Get response down. Yeah, I noticed that today. Help with Craigslist ad bodies. I've not clicked on this. I have no idea what it's about. I keep getting flagged on Craigslist. I need some serious help. I'm getting frustrated, and there's got to be a simple formula. If someone could point me in the right direction, it would help. Thanks. I have zero. I hire a guy, or if I ever want to post stuff on Craigslist, I hire a guy who's like Mr. Craigslist Ninja to do that for me. So personally, I have zero idea about this issue. But I know it's an issue. But let's say that you were either for affiliate marketing or offline marketing or whatever, that you're interested in that, you've done some of it, you got some stuff on your hard drive that talks about it, you take a little time, go over to Craigslist, you open some test accounts so that when they get hammered, it doesn't really matter. And you make a few experiments and you figure out, wow, this is how to do it and this is how not to do it. See, this is a guy with a problem. This guy has a problem. He keeps getting flagged on Craigslist and his posts get taken down. So you figure out how to avoid that, which I think anybody on this call could sit down for a day or two and probably figure out how to avoid. So you figure out how to avoid that. Guess what? There are a lot of people, including this guy, who would pay you money for that right now. Instant info product. You see how easy that would be? I mean, you could just start with, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I have a massive amount to cover, but you could just start with how not to get flagged on Craigslist. Now, some of this is going to be too old and all that stuff. And if y'all hear my dog barking, there's not a thing I can do about that. My dog is insane, and she sees another dog, so I apologize for that. Look at this, Craigslist posting secrets, WordPress. If your message was removed by Craigslist staff, I mean, this already starts to give me some information, right? Oh, so it's not just, I apologize for the dog, guys. I would get up from here and discipline her, but she's part terrier, so discipline she apparently missed out on the discipline gene. Um, Thank you, Kim. Thank God you don't hear her. Because I'm hearing her. But anyway, I mean, look at this. Again, I don't want to just dive into this part, but I want to remove the mystique of, oh my God, I've got to be a guru in order to do stuff. I got news for you guys. Gurus aren't gurus. They're just folks good at figuring stuff like this out. Why don't my posts show up on Craigslist? Now, I don't have a date on here and all that stuff. So you could read through this, okay? And you could get some information. You could maybe Google info products, say Warrior Forum, Craigslist. See what comes up. You might buy a couple of things. You might even have some stuff in your hard drive if you're already interested in this. With just a little head scratching, you have a product. Who here thinks that a product that tells you how to post, it's really spam, how to post spam on Craigslist, because it's self-serving marketing stuff, right? How to post self-serving marketing stuff on Craigslist and not have it taken down 2 seconds after you post it. Who here thinks that would be a good info product and that you could sell that on the Warrior Forum? Who thinks people would buy that from you? Say yes or no, or maybe. Or I don't understand. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would probably buy that, because I actually pay a guy a fair amount of money whenever I want to do this for a couple of my other businesses. And I might kind of like to know, well, gee, I mean, could I just like buy this and give it to some, like a VA or somebody and spend less money? Or could I set up a whole posting service for other people, right? So you could do that. You see how fast we came up with an idea? So, we're talking, and you could turn this into like a cheap WSO, and you would sell, even without affiliates, you're going to sell 50 to 100 of those. 50 to 100 emails of buyers on your list is worth $3 to $5 per buyer per month. Did y'all catch that? In the right hands like mine, it can be worth more. Okay, but even to a ranked newbie, it's worth $3 to $5. Yeah, I mean, Kim's already got the creative juices flowing. Kim says it'd be better to create an info product and how to post ads in areas outside your immediate area without getting ghosted. See, Kim, I know so little about this. I barely know what being ghosted is, but yeah, totally, absolutely. I mean, this is getting into, this is cool. Do you see how fast we came up with this idea? Let's talk about how we came up with this idea. I said, well, let's go over to the Warrior Forum, and we looked at the main Internet Marketing Forum, and we're searching for problems. This guy says, man, I got a problem. I need help with Craigslist ads. And then we just Googled that. We're over here with ghosting. Kim apparently already knows a little bit about that. And we're kind of like, we could put together a whole thing right here on this webinar. We could build a whole info product right now. See, all you have to do is collect that information, write it out in a way that is understandable for people, test it, make sure that it works, because you don't want to sell junk, and bam, info product. Pop it up on the Warrior Forum. You could do it as a free WSO. You can back in that with somebody else's WSO, and now you've got an upsell. Okay, and your free WSO, you would collect a lot of emails from that. You could do it as a $3 WSO, and you would, like I said, you would sell 50 to 100 of these of people who are willing to buy stuff from you. Or you could just go whole hog, and you could create like a $7 to $9 to $12 WSO. You could turn it into a video course. Not hard to do, actually a little easier to do that, frankly, than writing stuff. Turn it into a video course. Then you could back in that. The perfect back end for that would be have like an entire video thing plus other junk where somebody could buy that for $27 and send that package to their VA. Now suddenly they can do all this stuff, but they don't have to do it. See, I have just told you 3 ways to wrap this stuff up and turn it into info products, all 3 of which will put people on that list we were talking about. And those people will buy from you over and over and over again because they're passionately interested in this stuff. Who here thought that was cool? I'm nowhere near done. I'm still in first gear. But who here thought that part right there was cool? Let me know. Cool beans, yeah. That's cool stuff, right? And that's just a small amount. That's just a small amount of that entire. Let's get that picture out here where we can look at it. I try to be so, like, I don't know, professional. I am really good at making money. I'm not good at much else. My wife will attest to that. Barely mow the yard. I'm planting a garden this year. It's not in yet. But I mean, look, seriously. Bam, right there. We talked about that. We talked about that. You could do this as a standalone. Standalones won't work unless you know a bunch of affiliates. Just letting you know that. But later on, you do a standalone. Free WSO. Just turn it into a squeeze page. Make a bunch of videos. Okay. What about making a bunch of videos, have an entire YouTube channel about, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit because I'm going to talk about this later, have an entire YouTube channel about Craigslist marketing. Okay. And then that all goes to a squeeze page where you give away a little taste of what we just talked about. And then you back in that. In other words, when they put their name and email in or their email and they hit submit, then bam, they're on a sales letter. And it could be your WSO, by the way, for your info product about the whole ghosting issue, right? Good. Yeah. It's called, right, I could do that. But I actually like doing yard work. It's just that I work all the time. But anyway. So, look. This is cool, guys. I mean, we're talking about brass tacks about how to get this going. This is not theory. This is cool. Let's do it this way. That way I can go back to this picture every now and then. If it's too little for you, this part, let me know and I'll do something else. So, research. I did not mean to sit around and, pick your nose and just do a bunch of stuff that wasn't going to get anywhere. I'm talking about let's get together and make an info product. And I just showed you how to do that. You can do the same thing if you have an account at Warrior Plus. And this is a good thing to do. If you have an account at Warrior Plus, you can go there and you can see what's selling, what the hot selling things are. I'm a little bit of a contrarian, and those of you that have known me for some time probably already figured that out. I don't necessarily follow trends. I'm aware of them. But just seeing what somebody else is selling. And, you can think, well, gee, I didn't know people were interested in that. And if a few other people are selling stuff in that little sub-niche, bam, make your info product, okay? So take a few days, do some research. Collect some websites, collect some information, put it together. You don't have to make your info product yet. Okay? Do that. Kind of get an idea. You could be the Craigslist super guru on the Warrior Forum. You could seriously, you could create an entire business talking to people about Craigslist stuff. Craigslist for CPA marketing, Craigslist for affiliate marketing, Craigslist for offline marketing. Okay? You could have a whole Craigslist thing. Bam. And that's just like one. I mean, we could go back to, I don't know why that's doing that, but we could go back to the Warrior Forum. We didn't just get lucky. We did not just get lucky. You need a good lead page or capture page program, okay? This person is asking about how squeeze pages work, okay? How to start a blogging career. Do you know how many people there are out there who want to, quote, unquote, make money blogging? I mean, John Chow at johnchow.com makes $500,000 a year just blogging about blogging. It is a massive niche, How would you start a blogging career? I mean, well, I read the blogging's most, hang on, I get it. I read the blogging's the most easy way to make money online. I'm not an expert article writer on how to start a new blog. Pretty simple stuff, right? I mean, oh, look at this. There's Craigslist, and here's how not to get banned on Craigslist. See, that's even better. Now we got two people very interested in Craigslist. Blogging. There's enough people with enough problems right here pointing you in the right direction that you could create 20 six-figure businesses if you wanted to, just all based around this. You could have little warrior form avatars. I'm not suggesting that, but deciding which route to attempt. I mean, you could read that. Been doing a lot of research in IM the past few months. See, that's their mistake right there. Don't research. Start taking action. See what works out for you. Your opt-in box. Okay, so some of you I know for a fact know how to program. All right, and creating simple software for people is a great way to get started. It's not going to work for everybody because not everybody knows how to do that. But for those of you who know a little PHP and you can crank that stuff out and you do stuff like that, or know enough to hire somebody to do that without spending a massive amount of money, bam, instant product. How to keep visitors from clicking away. Yeah, I mean, I could write a whole thing about how to keep people on your page. Okay, see, so far we've got like 5, 6 info products right there that you could put together in the next few days. You could put this together in a day if somebody held a gun to your head. Cool. So let's move on. First 5 days, do research. Get an idea of the kinds of stuff that you're going to create. Setting things up. Okay, you do need some stuff to run this business. Now, having said that, if I had gone out and bought a franchise a few years ago to get to the level of income that I have now, I would have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and or incurred hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. This stuff that we're looking at right here can all be done for maybe around 50 or 60 bucks. Massive difference between the two, and no debt. Okay, so you need to have an account with JVZoo. You need to have an account with Warrior Plus, and you need to have an account with the Warrior Forum and be in the War Room, which I think is 20 bucks or 40 bucks or something like that. You need to have an autoresponder because we've got to have somewhere to put those emails, all right? You need to have hosting, $12 a month hosting thing at HostGator is fine. You need to have a domain because we're going to talk about squeeze pages. You've got to have somewhere to hang the squeeze page. Domain, $3, $4 at GoDaddy. If you don't know how to buy a domain for that cheap at GoDaddy, hit me up sometime. I'll show you how to do it. You need to have a YouTube account free. And you need to have some kind of squeeze page. When I first started, I used to, I'll show you one. Let's see if I still got that up. This squeeze page actually works really well. But I've since moved on and got fancier. See this squeeze page? It's made by yours truly. Me. I made this. And it works like gangbusters. It's got a pattern interrupt. It's got a headline, email submit. Bam, this thing converts very, very well. You could make it, anybody here could get on, even if you don't have whatever that is, Dreamweaver or whatever that thing is, you could get InView, that's the letters N, V, and a U, InView, and, which is a free baby Dreamweaver type thing, and you could create this. See, you just get that part from your autoresponder and just pop in the code there and that shows up. So all y'all can do this. Hold on. Let me get all my little boxes back so I can tell what's happening with the webinar. Okay. So you don't have to have something grandiose. You can get started small. Okay? I mean, you can keep it small. So day 6 and 7, get all this stuff set up. Okay? Days 8 and 9. Now we're going to create a freebie for a squeeze page. So we're going to, let's go back to our picture. We're going to create this squeeze page right here because we've got so much stuff going to it, okay? Create a freebie for a squeeze page. Well, we already looked at We're already got like 5 or 6 ideas that are solid because you know that people are asking about that over at the Warrior Forum. Okay? The whole Craigslist thing is totally solid. So find a problem, write a short 5-page report to solve it. You do not have to be Frank Kern to do this. And, you know, actually Frank Kern's not really Frank Kern, but you don't have to be Frank Kern to do this. You just write, all you got to do is write something down, and you don't have to be Ernest Hemingway on the writing thing. If you really hate writing, just do screenshots of you talking on a video. All of the above is fine. Or if you're really, really scratching your head and having trouble figuring it out, use some private label right stuff. Okay, I'll show you an example of that in a minute. Create a freebie for a squeeze page. You're going to have to write some copy for the squeeze page. Now look, you don't have to write much copy for your squeeze page. You do not have to be a quote-unquote copywriter to do that. Look, the copy on this squeeze page, by the way, I got the idea from this squeeze page from Charles Kincaid. And this squeeze page works like gangbusters. You get a pattern interrupt. The picture really has nothing to do with anything. And the reason that you can't see it is because it's just there to stop you. And then you've got you free, okay, and then you tell people what it is, and then you down here just, you know, put in their email. People know what to do, right? They say, oh, free, I want to see the video, put in the email, get instant access, bam. There's not a lot of writing that went on there. Hang on. Wrong. Right. Now here are some newer squeeze pages. These are through Lead Pages. I recently got a Lead Pages account. But look, I mean, this looks really cool, and I did virtually none of it. So, I mean, look at that headline. And any of y'all could write that. Okay, discover how I create $484.95 paydays with virtually no work using Google Hangouts. Completely newbie friendly, and then you got just instructions. You could do that. Now this one, frankly, is a little more grandiose. This one's giving away that Beginner's Guide to Video Marketing, which is PLR, by the way. In other words, I didn't write it, I bought it. But look, free report reveals. Where did I get those bullet points from for that? I looked at the introduction to the PLR product. Any of y'all could do that. Okay? So write the copy. So when I say write copy, don't freeze up and say, oh my God, I've got to go become a copywriter. No, you just have to have some common sense here. Write the copy. Headline, maybe bullet points and a call to action. In other words, the headline tells people what it's about. The bullet points you may or may not want. The call to action just says, click here to get your thing. Okay? That's day 10. Day 11. Now, for your squeeze page, people land on it. They want whatever it is, like they land on it, they want the Beginner's Guide to Video Marketing. Well, we need to upsell them to something. Okay? So go to the Warrior Forum and find a product that's similar to your freebie. So just go over here to the Warrior Forum, wherever that was. Did I get it? And look through here. And find something that's very similar. Find one of these WSOs that's very similar. Contact that person, become their affiliate, and then let that be where the traffic goes after they put their email in. They just land on this page, okay? Well, they just land on whatever page they land on. Like you could contact me. See, they could land on this page right here. So just let them land on this page. And if you're my affiliate, this is 100% commission, by the way. If you're my affiliate, when they buy this, you get paid, okay? And again, what we're doing is we are collecting emails. That's what we're doing right here. That's the heart and soul of this whole thing. You can link this all up manually through your autoresponder, and that may take a little head scratching to figure out at Aweber or GetResponse. It's not hard to do. It's just you just might have to Google a couple of things. If you have something a little more grandiose like lead pages. It's pretty simple to do that. Now you've got a lead magnet, you've got a thing to give away, you've got your upsell, you've got a funnel. Now we need to drive traffic to our funnel. Now in my picture here, let's see my picture. On the left-hand side, that's the traffic driving part. Okay, that gets people landing either on a sales page or on a squeeze page. So we got a bunch of ways of driving traffic, but one great way of driving traffic is through creating videos. I'm teaching a whole course on doing that, and so some of y'all in this webinar are in that course. That actually goes to that squeeze page about the video stuff that you saw, and I was looking at my GetResponse account, and I'm already getting people signing up to my GetResponse account, and I just barely got started with that. So you can create a whole YouTube channel, you can, or just put it on your current YouTube channel, you can create videos, you can start optimizing those, and you can have a steady source of traffic going to that squeeze page, some of whom are going to opt in. Well, let's talk about what you would need to do that. Keyword research, okay, because you want those videos to rank for something. You do that very easily with the AdWords tool, okay? Search for new keyword and ad group ideas. How to post on Craigslist. Did I spell Craigslist right? Yeah. See what happens. Oh, that's new. That's interesting. I was over here like 3 days ago, that one there. Anyway, post an ad on Craigslist, keywords like how to top. Do I post free Craigslist, ads on Craigslist. I mean, you'd have to, you know, I'm not going to spend all y'all's time just going through here and looking at details, but I mean, look. Suppose that our freebie was about Craigslist stuff, okay? Well, you start making videos addressing Craigslist stuff, giving people little tips and tricks about Craigslist stuff. Look, my God, Craigslist job gets 60,500 searches. That's pretty cool. Craigslist Boston job. So maybe you want to start making videos about Craigslist Atlanta, Craigslist San Diego, Craigslist Boston. Send people to your squeeze page. See? This is easy, guys. It's just organizing and doing a little work. Google Suggest. Google Suggest will a lot of times give you a lot more finer understanding of stuff than AdWords will. But it's cool to look at AdWords because you know that what we're talking about here, all this Craigslist stuff, gets a lot of traffic. Get here on Google. How, look at that, how not to get flagged on Craigslist. But, darn it. Let's see if there's anything that pops up if I, Craigslist. Let's try this. Craigslist. Flagging. Okay, these are, darn it. Flagging problem. Flagging policy, flagging problem freeware, flagging personals, flagging proxy, flagging plugin. Well, we could create a huge keyword list to make little videos for. A lot of these are not going to get a whole ton of traffic either. Ranking video is not going to be that hard. Look, how to post on Craigslist without getting flagged. Look, here's a YouTube video from August 2013, only a few months ago. Okay? Completely doable stuff, guys. That's from September 2013, a few months ago. Go look at those videos, see what they're doing. Why are they doing that? Where's that traffic going to? Build a keyword list. Day 13, create a YouTube account and optimize your channel. Day 14, start creating videos 1 per day or 1 per 2 days. Do it, but some consistency. Upload them and optimize them. Okay, so get this whole video thing rolling, because the thing about videos is it takes time to get them together, to get them uploaded, to optimize them, to get them to rank. But once they're there, they pretty much stay there. So it's kind of like, I don't know what it's like. It's like you got all this stuff that you built and it's going to give you traffic over a very long period of time, but it takes a little while to get rolling. That's why I also include the product creation side of this, because that you can get rolling the next few days. Okay, if your videos don't automatically rank, for some of those little keywords, if you optimize the video right, they're going to rank. But if your videos don't automatically rank, do this. Social bookmark them, see what happens. SENU blast them. You can do that to videos. You can't really do that to websites. And then social media gigs, and most of them will rank with just that. So here we are halfway through the month. Look what we've got going. We've got squeeze page. We're getting traffic to the squeeze page. We've got ideas for a few really cheap WSOs that we're going to do, maybe a big grandiose WSO. We're rolling. It's a lot of work, but we're rolling. Like I said, you keep doing this on a daily basis. Now, let's go run some WSOs. Okay, so we are videos. We'll talk about solos and Facebook stuff and swaps a little bit later on, but basically we talked back in the video thing going, and now we're talking about the WSO thing and the standalone launches. Okay, now we had a freebie that we wrote for our squeeze page. A cool thing to do, you can rewrite it, or we just need to add a little bit of value to it so that we can charge money for it. Okay, and a really good way to do that, and you've seen me do this if you bought some of my stuff recently, is take the report and just link out to 2 or 3 explanatory explanatory YouTube videos. So let's say the Craigslist posting thing had something that took a little finesse, or something that was easier shown than written about, or whether it did or didn't, just take part of it and turn it into a video. Take a couple of parts of that, turn it into a video. Put it up on YouTube. You can make that public and make that part of, send the traffic to your squeeze page, but include a link to that and the text of your freebie, your giveaway, and now you've got a WSO. You got something that somebody pay you money for. So they're reading through this and they you link out to a few videos. That's worthy. So you talk about the whole Craigslist thing and blah, 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 and so you say, well, check this video out to see how I do this, and check that video out to see how I do that. That's a lot of value for $7 to $12, whatever you want. Most of these little ones we're talking about $7 to $9 right now. That's a lot of value, guys. So Kim just says that Kim ranked a video. Kim, I'm not going to yell out your keyword phrase there, but Kim ranked a video so on the first page for 33 million search results. Sweet. Excellent. See? Now, if you could do that for something that hard, all right, for a lot of these little things, I mean, you can just create a steady flow of traffic to your squeeze page. And that means, like, every morning when you wake up and you look at your autoresponder account, you're going to have 10 more people subscribed, 15 more people subscribed, 5 more people subscribed. And it's cool because these are people in there that you're going to market to, and they're going to pay you money. Yes, Thomas, it definitely will be. And I'm going to leave it up for a while. So, I'm not much of a do this in the next 2 minutes kind of guy. But, yeah, absolutely. This is going to go on for a while, Thomas, because I'm only halfway through. I'm trying to provide you guys real value, whether you take me up on my offer or not, as I always do. But, yes, the offer will be on the replay. Thank you, Joe. You bet, Thomas. Joe says, we're only halfway through and already gave away a ton of gold. Yeah, I mean, this is it. You know, Joe, you bought courses from me recently and you've seen bits and pieces of this. Not that I was trying to hide anything. It's just, I'm just trying to teach as much as I can, as fast as I can. I mean, we're halfway through and you guys could take what I just showed you and you could create an entire business out of this. We're talking about quit your job business. We're talking about not have to worry about money kind of business. We're not talking about, how the heck am I going to keep the lights on kind of business. We're talking about real business. And a fun business, too. I mean, I don't think I emphasize that enough. I mean, I know people all over the world who are really close friends of mine now through this business, and it's really, really, really cool. So this is more than, yeah, it's about money, but it's more than money. It's about getting into something that's just, you're ahead of the curve. It's cool stuff. But anyway, take your freebie, rewrite it, add a couple of videos, bam. Now you have an inexpensive WSO. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And go to the WSO section on the Warrior Forum and post that thing. I mean, just an inexpensive $3, $4, $5. Now, with the recent changes in the Warrior Forum, with them lowering the price and selling and all that stuff, there's a little fluidity here that I'm testing or just kind of trying different things. But everything I'm telling you works, okay? Like I recently raised the price of a $3 WSO to $5 and moved it from Warrior Plus to JVZoo. We'll see what happens with that, Will I cover my $20 or not? I don't know. I mean, it's an old one that I did this to. It's already pretty much, this is my little inexpensive list builder. It's already pretty much run its life cycle there. But yeah. Something new, something cool, something that people have a need for, which you validated by going over to the internet marketing section of the Warrior Forum. You saw two people ask questions about Craigslist within about an 8-post span. So that's definitely a product. So post that on the Warrior Forum. Don't even put a back end to it. The whole goal, is look, you're paying $20, okay, to post this thing. So if you sell it for $3, we need to make, 7 sales for you to cover that? Well, chances are you'll make 7 sales, but, the whole info marketing game is so different than when I started a few years ago. I mean, we don't generally make massive sales of stuff. The whole goal now is to put names on email lists and market to them. I mean, it's always been pretty much that, but the money that you get from the launch is not where it's at. Okay. But yeah, so day 18. Look at where 17. We're not even 3 weeks into the month, and you've got videos up. You've got your squeeze page up. You're driving traffic to your squeeze page. You've got inexpensive WSO on the Warrior Forum. You are collecting emails. Now, when you have some sales, calculate the visitor value of your sales page. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so this sales page is for Simple Hangout Profits, a product of mine that I launched recently. It's a standalone sales page. Okay, so it's a report. You buy it for $7, and when you buy it, you land on an upsell for Video Conversion King. That little funnel there, it's got like I think just this front page has like an 89% visitor value, if I remember correctly. I calculated it a couple of days ago because I'm going to be buying some traffic to send here. So let me explain to you what I mean. On average, if someone lands on this page, I make 89 cents. Now, does that mean that person's going to buy this product? No. But it means that if I send 89 cents times 100 is 89 bucks, right? Did I do that math right? I hope I did. I used to teach math. The arithmetic was never my forte. But yeah, so in other words, in general, if I send 100 people here, I'll make $89. Now, that's in general. I mean, you could, we talked about Andre's question earlier on. We talked about some solos are better than others and all that stuff. So you can't just like assume all the time, okay? But in general, and I've had traffic from different sources coming here, and it's averaging out to be about 89 cents. And if I add the back end there, I calculated that again. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was like $1.30, $1.50, $1.70. It may have been even been more than that. So even with the back end in general, I could pay up to $1 for a click, and I'm making money. Now, see, that is a really, that's like the key metric for this whole ballgame. So when you start selling your stuff as these little WSOs, post your inexpensive WSO in the Worry Forum. These little $3 and $4 and $5 WSOs, they're going to have, even without an upsell, they're going to have visitor values of somewhere between 30 and 50 cents. Well, it's kind of hard to buy solo for 30 cents, but you definitely buy them for 40 or 50 cents. And look, so basically, look what you're doing. On average, you're building a list and not spending money. Yeah, you'll have to front some money and get it back later and all that stuff, but when the dust settles, you've got more emails and you're in the clear. You broke even or almost broke even or made a little more than breaking even. So after you run this inexpensive WSO through the Warrior Forum a few times, you'll have traffic. You take the dollars that you made divided by the number of visitors on the page. You can do this through tracking, or you can do it very easily through just looking at, watch. See where it says views right there? Now, I don't know the details of those views. I don't know if that's like one, whether it's like if I look at the page twice, I don't know if it counts me twice. I don't know the details. But this is a quick and dirty way of doing this. So uncensored blueprint to high ROI list building funnel, if we owned that and we had made X amount of dollars, we would divide that by 17,385 and get our visitor value. And that's the metric that tells us what we can pay for traffic. Okay, so that gets us back to, my picture's getting farther and farther behind, that gets us back to right there, solos, Facebook ads, and Facebook remarketing. So once you got some sales, calculate. Yes. Got a great question about visitor value. Let's just make sure this is really, really clear, because think about what you want to know. You want to know that on average, if I write an email to my list or to somebody else's list, and somebody clicks on that, and then when they click on that, they're going to land on my page, right? You want to know what the value on average to me is for that happening. So visitor value, it's also called earnings per click, but I kind of like the word visitor value better. So let's say we made, I don't know, $987 from something, and let's say that we had 2,137 visitors to that page. Okay, so how much was each visitor worth? So we're going to take our 987, we're going to divide it by 2137. So each time someone lands on that page, it's worth 46 cents to us. So now we know what we can pay for traffic. That's a little hard to do with solos, but you can surely do that with Facebook ads. Now there's some nuances. Not all traffic is created equal, and we discussed that, which is why you just can't go like buy 1,000 views, 1,000 clicks, and spend a bunch of money. You have to kind of creep up on it and prove it again and test and tweak and all that stuff. But in general, you know that every time somebody lands on the page, it's worth 46 bucks. 46 cents to you. Okay. And if you add some back ends to this, some upsells, you'll get that over $1 or $2. That just basically allows you to just sit there and buy traffic. Okay? Buy traffic, get the profit. Buy more traffic, get the profit. Buy more traffic, get the profit. You can start building very, very it's according to where your funnel starts. So this is a great question. So when you say page, do you mean the product sales page? It's according to where your funnel starts, okay? The difference between these two funnels is this one has a squeeze page on the front. Now, personally, I would want to know, look at me getting all fancy and it not working. I would want to know the visitor value for landing on that page right there. Okay, because when I buy solos or when I pay for Facebook ads, what I'm paying for is someone to land on that squeeze page. Now, granted, it's going to be less than somebody landing on the sales page because you're going to, not everybody who, you're going to get more people who don't put their emails out, all right? So let's say you get, of those, in the squeeze page, the people that put their emails in is going to be somewhere between 20 and 50%. So the visitor value of the squeeze page is going to be half to a fifth of what the visitor value of the sales page is going to be. Okay? Now the second funnel, if we sent traffic directly to the sales page. But, I mean, there's some nuances going on here, and I'll talk about that in a brief second. Fewer people are going to buy here than will opt in here. But some of those people that opt in here are going to end up buying later on when you promote stuff to them. Okay? Now some of them won't. Some of them just want free stuff. They're going to stay wanting free stuff forever. But a lot of them, getting in the game, they just saw this thing, they liked it, whatever, you send them the right offer, they're going to buy. Now, can you just get all OCD about this thing and then could you calculate the overall lifetime value of that squeeze page? Yeah, you could, but that's really hard to do because now you got time. You have to bracket your time and say, if I send traffic here for the next month, how much did that traffic make me? And frankly, guys, that is more analysis. I know people do that kind of analysis, but that's more analysis than you need. What you need to do is you need to get a positive return on investment on your funnels and then send traffic to them, okay? Joe's saying basically, Joe's wanting to calculate visitor value by taking the number of the total number of sales and taking the total sales revenue amount and dividing it by the number of people who bought. But that's a different metric because, see, Joe, the question we're trying to answer is how much can I pay for traffic? That's the question we're trying to answer. That's the golden question. See, when I go buy a solo, or even if I do a Facebook ad, and I'm basically what I'm paying for is someone to land either on the squeeze page in funnel 1 or the sales page in funnel 2, right? So how much can I pay to make that action happen? See, that's the number I really want to know. So if I know that I make 89 cents every time that happens, then I know that, well, I can pay 88 cents or less, see, to make that happen. With your way of figuring, you're basically figuring what happens at this upsell. But then you're going to have to figure out the difference in the traffic that landed on the squeeze page and landed on the sales page in order to get back to what you could pay for the traffic on the squeeze page. Because when you buy traffic, all you're doing is buying someone actually looking at your page. Okay. So in Facebook ads, somebody sees an ad or a sponsored post, they click on that, they land on your page. They land on this squeeze page here or that sales page there. So you want to know what value on average is that to you, because that way you can ballpark your traffic. Cool. Yeah, get that visitor value. Now, this point. Look what you've got happening at this point. You're building out videos, you've got a squeeze page, you're collecting emails that way. That's more of a long-term thing. As long as you're consistent, it will work amazingly well. You're running cheap WSOs or even free WSOs to get people on your list. So now you're collecting people on your list. So here we are at 3 weeks in, you've got a list. It's time to start promoting offers to them. These people desperately want to figure stuff out. Those people asking those questions about Craigslist really needed that answered. They want to know this stuff. You and I buy stuff because we want to know how to do stuff. We want to know how to make money. We want to know how something works, right? And one little report is not going to do it because we're in this whole ever-changing, huge world of internet marketing. So we need more stuff. We need more information. The people on your list want more information. So it's up to you to give it to them and get paid to give it to them. So even here in day 21 and 22, it's time for you to start promoting stuff from your list and making more money from your list. So at this point, you're building lists. Now it's time to start promoting affiliate offers to them. I do, in general, not always, 2 per day. Okay, I do 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, and a lot of times I'll do 1 at midnight, okay, which will be the unopened. So I do 2 or 3 per day. Because look, think about this. I mean, with changes in Google and a lot of stuff lands on the promotions tab, and all the emails, you buy 20 products, suddenly you're on 20 different people's email lists, and you got all those emails coming in. I mean, do you actually sit there and look at all those emails? Probably not. So I need to maximize the number of times that you need to see my email without just being a total pest. I don't mind being a pest a little bit, but I don't want to be a total pest. So day 20 and 21, it's time to start marketing as an affiliate to your list. Now it's not the time to rest on your laurels. It's time to keep on keeping on. Create another inexpensive WSO. You saw how easy it was to get ideas for this stuff. Okay? Now this next sentence is really hard to do, frankly. I mean, it is for me because honestly, I just, I think I do too much. But anyway, it's just because I do. Create another inexpensive WSO, either inexpensive or free, whatever. Run it through the Warrior form. Ideally, you want to have something on page 1 or 2 of the WSO section at all times. I mean, if you can break even, almost break even, or do a little more than breaking even, and with this inexpensive stuff, I generally double my money. But if you can do that, you need to be collecting emails all the time. So, in other words, make another one. Day 25, 26, write a sales letter for your new WSO and launch it. In other words, just start reiterating the process. 27, 28. Now, this is when like it takes on a whole new level. Even with these cheaper WSOs and stuff like this, you out there, you're selling some stuff for some other people. Like you might have contacted somebody like me and said, hey, I'm new in the business. I've got a list. I'd really like it. I liked your product. I'd like it if you'd let me mail for it. And I approve you as an affiliate. And you mail for it and you make a few sales. Other affiliates are going to hit you up and say, hey, that's pretty cool. I would like to mail for that. And you let them mail for it and they make a few sales. Now you're building relationships with people like me, okay? Now you go to people like me and you say, hey, sold that product for you. That's pretty cool. Look, I've got a small list. I generally can get 20 or 40 clicks out of that list. Would you consider doing a list swap with me? And a list swap is I give you an email with a link that goes to my squeeze page. You give me an email with your link that goes to your squeeze page. And we kind of sort of try to match traffic. And it's got to all be tracked and all that stuff. And you don't worry if I sent you 22 clicks and you sent me 24 clicks. You just don't want it to where I send you 100 clicks and you send me 4 clicks, okay? So you start hitting people up for swaps. Will all of them do it? No, but every now and then somebody will, and that is as long as it's a valuable product or valuable freebie that you're telling your list about, they'll appreciate that. You got some extra cash because you're starting to run these promos. So now you take that cash and you reinvest in your business. You go out to people and you start buying solos. Every now and then you'll see like a solo Rolodex or solo Black Book thing for sale. I've got several of those. They have reputable solo dealers in there. Go use those. There was a girl who was a student of Matt Basics who sold a list of 10 good solo dealers, which I bought for like $9. I mean, that's gold, man. So, find some good solo dealers, buy small amounts of traffic for them, work to a positive ROI, go back to them, buy more traffic. Now you are you're firing on all cylinders here. You're building a list. It's going to get big pretty soon. And again, and I've kind of alluded to this, but now once you know the visitor value of your whole sales page or your funnel, if it starts with a squeeze page, now you can buy more traffic. Facebook ads, again, the way you do this is you set it all for really low amounts, okay? So you'd budget down to like, as low as you can go. Test the traffic, see what it's like. You have to track it through trackers like, I use one called Easy Tracker Pro just to keep up with stuff. Or you can look at the Facebook ads and you can sit down and figure out, you can figure it out manually. But now's the time to start creating Facebook ads. Now's the time to line up solos for the near future. I got friends who make a lot of money buying Facebook traffic and just sending it to other people's WSOs. I mean, I could do that too. It's just that, there are only so many hours in a day. I know more ways to make money than I got time to do it, right? So, but I'm saying you could do that. You can be an affiliate for somebody else's WSO, and you can go to Facebook, buy traffic, and test it a little bit, and then you can send it over to their WSO, and you can make money on the arbitrage. Day 30, start running those Facebook ads judiciously. Like I said, you creep up on this. Very, very low daily budget. Patience is where it's at, and then ramp this up. Yeah, I've talked like, I've sat here and just talked and talked and talked. I get really amazingly excited about this, but it's a lot of work, yeah, but look at what you're building here. So you're building an entire business. You're building an asset. My son, I paid both of my children to read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, and they liked it so much that I paid them again to go to the bookstore and pick out another one of his books and read them, okay? So they're both about creating assets. And I said, you guys may not realize this, but the biggest asset I own is my email list. And they're both looking at me like, yeah, that's right. That's really right. That's crazy, man. So you're not just making money. This isn't just like going to a job. You're creating an asset, okay? A very, very, very lucrative asset. And in 30 days, you can get this whole thing rolling. You can get this whole thing rolling to where, look where we are in 30 days. We've got videos going to squeeze pages. We got free WSOs. We got inexpensive WSOs. And you don't have to do it all in this order. We're buying traffic. You're building your list. You're already promoting stuff to your list. You're already making money. And yeah, you're going to have to basically work hard to make all this stuff happen, or if it takes 60 days, who cares? I mean, I hope you're alive 30 days from now. I really do. I don't know if I'm going to be. I just take it day by day because, that's what God told me to do. But, I mean, there's nothing wrong with me that makes me think that I'm not going to be. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I'm I'm in my 50s. I'm highly aware that this ride doesn't last forever now. But my point is, hopefully, knock on wood, God bless you, I hope you're alive 30 days from now. So you want to be in the same place that you're in right now, or you want to be in a different place? What we're looking at here is you putting the pedal to the metal and getting yourself in a very, very different place. Now, I know I got some questions here. I'm going to get to those in a second. So in only 30 days, you have laid the foundations for a business like mine, a seriously great six-figure business. Let me go back to my questions. One is, how do you decide what to focus on if you have more things that you could do than you have time? I guess you're talking about what I just said about me personally. Part of, for me, I'm going to answer this from my personal point of view. Honestly, part of it's just passion, part of it's, it's not all logical. Yeah, I'm trying to make more and more money as time goes on. But part of it's just passion, and part of it's a little bit of wisdom in that, obviously I've done well building businesses lately. And I've screwed up a bunch of stuff too, honestly. I just do so much stuff that nobody really pays attention to the giant number of screw-ups. But if I have screwed some stuff up, it might be trying too many things. Basically what you need to do is you need to find one thing that's either works for you or you think is going to work for you. Start making it work a little bit, and then you just need to dive into that thing with blinders on, seriously. That would be the ideal way to do this. So I learned that it's not really a lesson. I just kind of I'm fascinated by the internet. I love it. I think it's amazing. When I remember the first moment someone told me, it was my wife, told me that people could make money on the internet. I thought, man, that's crazy. And it was like, it's like the heavens parted and the angels sang. It was amazing. So, but having said that, so I have to remind myself that, I have a business to run and I can't go off in left field. So over time, I personally realized, the engine of a car, it's cool. It's got pistons in it, it's got all this, nowadays it's got all this computer stuff in it. Back in the day, you had a distributor and all that stuff. And, you got the starter and the alternator, all this stuff. But it's not going anywhere unless you have gasoline. See, and it kind of dawned on me like a year or two ago, kind of a slow realization that gasoline is the list. There are lots of ways to slice it and lots of ways to make money off of it, but the gasoline is the list. So I decided to just focus on the list. Joe likes this cool stuff. Joe says the vision has to be greater than the distractions. Ray Higdon. I actually know Ray Higdon. Matter of fact, I've got his phone number on my phone. That's awesome. I love Ray Higdon. And his wife, Jess, is really, really a real sweetheart, too. Yes, absolutely. Ray's one of my peeps, or I'm one of his peeps in this case. But, yeah, the vision has to be greater than the distractions. And there can be a lot of distractions, especially when you got a job. But even if you're doing this stuff full time, there's still a lot of distractions. I mean, it's not all. I mean, it's not easy. It's fun. It's often simple, but it's not easy. So, cool beans. Okay, let's see where we're going with this. Who thought this was totally cool? We're going to have Q&A in just a minute, but who thinks that the stuff that I told you was cool? Let me know. I mean, I honestly think it's cool. I'm so excited I'm going to have to go run around the block just to calm down. Yeah, this is some massively cool stuff. Let me tell you what I'm doing. In May, okay, now this came out of my previous class because I started talking about my entire business model, and the chat box lit up, and I thought, wow, people are really interested in that total thing, right? I'm starting a new class where I'm going to dissect this entire thing for you, show you how to do all these steps, nothing left out. I've showed you this in a qualitative way. Now we're going to do more of a quantitative way. It's going to be 4 webinars. My teaching webinars generally last a long time, so we're looking at about 2 hours each. This time I'm adding a Facebook group to it. I think that to make this happen, okay, you need more access to each other and more access to me than in my previous classes because I'm teaching you the entire thing, okay? And I want you to do the entire thing. So, somebody who's jumping into this is going to say, for the life of me, I can't figure out how to, what to do in Aweber because it's not really all that obvious, frankly. What to do in Aweber to make somebody land on another page after they put their email in it. Okay? It's not obvious how to do that, by the way. I mean, it's once you know it, it's simple, but it's not obvious once to figure it out. So we're going to have a Facebook group where you can ask me questions. And look, I'm not going to be in there 24/7, obviously, but I am going to be available during the day. And you can ask each other questions. So who should be interested in this class? Anyone interested in creating a business like mine, all right? This info marketing business. If you're interested in this, if you're interested in that, you ought to be interested in the class. Who shouldn't? I must have been cranky when I wrote that. Tire kickers, shiny object seekers, and people interested in easy money. Because seriously, guys, this is not easy money. And it's not like, breaking rocks or something for a living. It's just that this is real business. And I'm going to teach you really how this whole thing works. Here's the deal. I'm going to sell you access to this class for $147 for the entire class. The classes are going to be May the 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th. I know I have some people on this webinar who are in my previous class, which I had to extend a little bit. Don't worry about your dates compared to these dates. It's all going to work out. But everything's recorded. Everything's going to be made available if the GoToWebinar gods shine on us. If they don't, I'll just have to sit down and do what I'm doing for the last Tuesday's class, which is basically sit down and just do a video for it all over again. But that's what we got going on here. If you liked this and you want to create this for yourself, I'm going to be teaching you the details of how to do this, and you can get that by going to bit.ly. bit.ly/30-day empire 30-DAY-EMPIRE. Let me show you what's going to happen when you land on 30-day empire, if I can find it amidst all this stuff. Well, we don't need that. I guess I could just put it in here. You're going to land here, okay? And sure, I'll pop that in the chat. I'll tell you what. It's clickable, I think, in the chat, so I can put that there. I think that's clickable for you guys. If it's not clickable, it's a lot easier. The reason I created the bit.ly link is because it's a lot easier to type that in. Okay. Now, Once you buy this, if you've never bought access to anything from me before that was in my members area, you're going to receive an email from me. It's got a login. That login has a URL to log into, your username and your password. Log in. Now, at the moment when you log in, you're not going to see anything because I haven't even created the webinars. But I'm going to be creating the webinars either later on tonight, or I try not to work on Sunday too much, but I'm a workaholic, so I'll probably just run over there and create them real fast. You have the webinar signups there. As we create I tend to create a lot of other material as I teach these classes. I make that available to you in the members area. You have access to the members area forever after you pay for it. And again, I think it's going to be really huge for this class is the Facebook group. Because see, like I said, I have taught parts of this before, but it was very narrowly focused. I've never really taught the whole thing. The whole thing is a bit more complex, and it's a little easier for you to run into something that might stop you, like how do you optimize a YouTube video? I'm really good at that. I can tell you that. Matter of fact, I know I've got about 4 PDFs floating around the internet somewhere that I could just point you to. How do you do the Aweber thing? If you want to use GetResponse, how do you do it in GetResponse? Should you use Aweber or GetResponse? There are some details here. And I want you to have access to me for the details, hence the Facebook group. I haven't even created the Facebook group yet, but once I do, which again will be either today or tomorrow, possibly Monday, I'll have the Facebook group, information on how to register for the Facebook group. Essentially, you have to friend me on Facebook if you're not already my friend. You might be. I've got over 1,000 friends on Facebook, but if you're not already my friend, you got to friend me. Then I add you to the group, okay? But I'll have instructions on that whole thing. And then we'll get rolling. Our first class will be on the 6th. This is guaranteed through the start of the second class. I figure, you're kind of like taking my word for it. So you can go to the first class. If you don't like what you see, you can get a refund for your entire $147 up to the beginning of the second class. Okay, after that, no refunds, because I figure, I've already given you a fourth of the information for free. Is this a step-by-step that can be finished in a day for the daily steps? I have tried my best. I've been doing this stuff for years, so I've got a pretty good idea about how much you can do in a step. I have tried my best to step this out. Let's see if we can get some steps. Some of you are going to do research a little faster than 5 days. Some of you might be really new to this, and you really need to go over to the Warrior Forum and read some stuff. You just need to get into the thing, right? So there's some, there's obviously some flexibility there. I mean, if you know, hey, I got it. I loved what Lee said showed us about the Craigslist thing. I got it. I already know what I want to do. Bam, I'm good. Then you got 1 day of research, okay? Setting this stuff up for me personally, it would take me, if I was going to do this all by myself, it would probably take me, an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes to set all this stuff up. Now, some people are, I got that next question in a sec. Some people have never, ever used an autoresponder. And, I remember when I first started using Aweber, I thought, what idiot figured this thing out? This thing's about as user-friendly as a book written in ancient Chinese, Well, so for some of you it's going to be easy, some of you it's not going to be easy, but that's why the Facebook group is so you can say, Lee, God knows I can't figure out what to do. I can already tell you what to do because I've already dealt with that myself. Hosting domain, most of y'all probably got that figured out. Little nuances about how to use Warrior Plus and JVZoo. I may even cut a few quick videos about how to do that. I've got my own cheat sheets that I use myself for listing stuff in Warrior Forum and JVZoo, so they're printed out and color-coded, but I can show you some information about that. We're going to be developing some more stuff as we go along. Squeeze pages, you can probably get a copy of my squeeze page there. You can take a look at that. the manual one. You can easily make that if you want to do something like lead pages. I'm actually doing a webinar with lead pages. Hang on, Kim. I'm actually doing a webinar with lead pages on the 30th, by the way, and they're going to show you a ton of cool stuff. They offered to do that for me. So, I as best I could get it, I've got this pretty much down to a daily thing. I think it would take a newbie-ish kind of person a couple of days, even if you're working, to do this part. Let's see what else, since we're talking about time frames. Yeah, keyword research. I mean, this right here should take you all of you need about 30 keywords to start out with for video marketing. So this, if you're spending like 4 hours doing this, you're screwing up. This would take you all about 20 minutes, anybody to do. So yeah, I think I've got it down into as close to a generic bite-sized sections as I can get. Okay, but again, you may be totally ignorant of something, and which is okay. We're here to learn. You may be totally ignorant of something. You think, well, man, I just can't figure that out. It may take you a little longer there, but you'll probably make up the time on the other end. So, and again, Facebook group, I'm here to help you straighten stuff out because I would like to see you succeed. Yeah, you can do this part-time. Absolutely. This is definitely doable part-time because you don't have to be actually on the computer to do this stuff. I mean, like I've got WSOs running now, okay? I've probably already got more subscribers than when I started the webinar. I probably already made money from selling my stuff while I was on this webinar, other stuff, because it's just out there and people buy it. So this stuff kind of runs, once you get it set up, it just kind of runs on its own, and yeah, you can definitely do this part-time. What about being an affiliate for your products to start off? Yes, Kim, you may be an affiliate for my products. We'll just take that as a given. Any other questions that we have? Any questions that you need answered before you decide whether you want to do this or not, or anything about what I talked about? Okay, Joe's in. Joe's totally stoked. To purchase softwares. No, you don't need to purchase software. The only real software on here that you don't need to, well, let's talk about what you need to buy. And I'll give you you have to be a member of the Warrior Forum. That's free, but you also have to be a member of the War Room to run a WSO, and I've been a member of the War Room for a long time. It's either $20 or $40. I can't remember. You can go over there and look. They may have lowered the price. I'm not sure. Warrior Plus and JVZoo, that is a very, very inexpensive monthly fee. We're talking about a few bucks. Autoresponder, I don't know about GetResponse. I know that with Aweber, you can get a $1 trial for them. Hosting, I mean, if you don't already have hosting, you're looking at about, yeah, great question about the 4-hour workweek class. Hosting, you're looking at about 12 bucks. Domain, don't pay $12 for a domain. Just hit me up. I'll show you how to save a ton of money there. YouTube account. Free squeeze page and do a manual squeeze page that works just fine, like that 4 Secrets to Offline Success squeeze page, which didn't cost me a thing. Or you could just go like the total other end and get lead pages. And either one will work. Matter of fact, lead pages is a little easier to use, which is why I decided to get it. I have to set up less stuff manually. But you don't need that, okay? Seriously, you don't need that to get going. And it's not like you're going to be crippled if you don't have it, all right? You can do just fine. I've done just fine with squeeze pages that I just sat there and created on InView. How does this differ from 4.5-hour workweek class, which is a class that I taught 2 classes ago, or my YouTube affiliate class, which is this last class? Basically, I was teaching you pieces of this whole thing. Okay. That 4.5-hour workweek class, I basically taught you this part right here. $3 WSOs that go to a list. Okay, and then send promotionals to that list. That's so I taught you a narrow, I mean, it's great stuff and works like gangbusters, and you can just focus on that if you want. I do a lot of that, but I taught you that narrow thing there. Okay. Again, this whole idea, like most of my ideas, just come to me. I don't plan them. They just hit me in the middle of the face, right? So this whole idea came from my last webinar, where I was on the webinar and I started kind of getting off track, basically, and I started, well, making this picture for everybody, and everybody got really, really interested and started asking me a bunch of questions about it. So I thought, man, maybe people really want to know how this whole thing works. I mean, the entirety of the whole thing. Well, how could I teach that and keep the price low enough to where, you know, a lot of folks could buy it, but yet keep the quality up? And really the answer to that for me was the Facebook group, because that's where I can get, you can like post and say, hey, I've never set up Aweber. How do you do that? And, I can answer, somebody else can answer. There are a lot of people that are going to be in there, hopefully, who can answer that. So that kind of is going to add a lot more to this, which will make it possible for you to learn a much more complex system. It's not really that complex, but it's more complex than 4.5-hour workweek was, to learn a more complex system within, a month's worth of time. So hopefully that answers that question about 4.5-hour workweek. Great questions, guys. Anything else that I need to help you out with, answer about this before we wrap it up? I am, yeah, Joe, it will be. I am going, I've recorded this. God willing, the recording will work. Doesn't always work with GoToWebinar, but GoToWebinar is generally pretty good. But if it works, I will have this entire webinar up there on the sales page, and I'll fill it out with a few bullet points. I was just kind of moving fast because, like I said, I had this idea only a few days ago. And I will have the sales page up there, for a while. If I get a ton of people in the class, I don't want it to get too big that it gets unwieldy and you're not getting the good out of it. If that happened, I would send everybody an email and say, hey, this thing's about to max out. This is more people than I can handle, and I would give you a realistic amount of time to sign up. But we'll see if that happens. Other than that, it's going to stay. It'll stay up until we start the first class, and I'll just remind you about it via email every now and then. Cool beans. That's what I know today. Thank you so much for being on this webinar with me. Last call for questions. I hope so, Joe. Joe says webinar is great. Hope you got a lot of people realizing the tremendous value here. Thank you so much for that, and thank you. My goal is to just teach you guys how to make money because it's a cool thing to do. So thank you so much for being on the webinar. Once I download this and reformat it and all that stuff, the replay will be up there, and I'll just email that to everybody so you'll have that. And the PDF of that you got or didn't get, I'll make sure that is on that page also, so you can just scroll down the bottom and download that. Thank you so much. You all have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you very soon.